you've done a great job at using SEO to attract the right clients to you. How long did it take you the first and then the second time to get that system going?
There's different types of SEO, right? Like there's different strategies that you can take. Local SEO, you can spin up a lot faster. It's less competitive. When you're working on, let's say national scale as opposed to a local scale and using like more top of funnel content to build an email list, that takes longer. But the local stuff that definitely spun up in a short number of months. And the content marketing took longer, probably closer to a year to really start filling the funnel and building my list.
Welcome back to another episode of The Art of Online Business. This is first of two very good episodes where we're featuring Laura Jawad, and she is an SEO strategist for female service providers and female-founded small businesses. She helps entrepreneurs attract more clients through the power of their website. And specifically why I think this is ultra valuable for you, the listener, is because she also helped me, my website, embarrassingly so. My website was not even visible by Google. And so she helped me set that in order. And for you listening to this episode, listen up, because I know sometimes SEO gets a bad rep, or there are charlatans, going under the SEO umbrella, and they want to do things that take forever. But Laura's all about action, and I've seen her work this SEO on my website, and it's really, really helped. So she's built 2 successful businesses through SEO, and that's what qualifies her to be talking with you today. She's demonstrated firsthand the transformative power of well-executed SEO in competitive markets. And so combine that with, get this, her PhD. Dang, respect. I don't even have a master's. And her deep passion for helping women own businesses thrive. Laura is the go-to if you want to fill your client roster without relying on social media. Welcome to the show, Laura.
Thank you so much, QUÄY.jo and Jamie.
You're very, very welcome. So, Laura, I am super curious. Since this first episode is getting to know you, how is it that you first cut your teeth on SEO? And please share how you knocked the ball out of the park, so to speak, with your previous business as far as SEO goes, and how that helped you become the SEO phenom that you are today.
So I landed in SEO via my first entrepreneurial endeavor, which was actually a pregnancy and postpartum personal training business. So, so you mentioned the PhD. I was in academic science for almost 2 decades. And when I became pregnant with my first child, I found that the services and support that I needed at that time were severely lacking. And so I ended up leaving my academic position, and I started a pregnancy and postpartum personal training business, and later a birth doula business. And both of those businesses became fully booked out businesses built on SEO. And what I learned with those businesses is that I don't thrive in the social media realm. Yeah, so I'm very introverted. I had a really hard time with that. And that it sort of forced my hand to figure out another way to market my business. And that was SEO. And so as I got some traction, both in the online fitness space and then in my local doula market, I invested more and more into learning SEO and getting better at SEO. And as those businesses thrived, I had my colleagues coming to me for help getting their businesses found online. And so that kind of drew the line from those pregnancy and postpartum businesses into the SEO business that I have now.
Okay. So you weren't down to be dancing in reels on TikTok and Instagram. That's basically what I'm interpreting?
No, like if you scroll back through my Instagram, you might find like 1 or 2 where I really tried. I really tried to be that girl, and it just was not me. Um, and so, when I started my businesses, like they teach you how they reach you, right? Like all my business coaches that I had early on, like told me that in order to be successful with my businesses, I had to be on Instagram. I had to be showing up every day, posting consistently, selling in the DMs, like this story, right? And I really did try, and it really isn't me. But what I did find is that when I was posting, the things I enjoyed posting were like those 2,200 character captions. Like I really liked maxing it out, like the long form captions. Uh, I I like to write. And so I would write these really long captions. And at some point I started putting those on my website in the blogs. And that's when I started seeing traction on my website. So that's really when I started learning about SEO, because I was like, like the more I put stuff on my website, like the more traffic I get from my website. And so that is really what compelled me to shift that focus. And I had so much more success once I shifted into a marketing model that aligned with my personality, my interests, my energy. And I still have my Instagram. I still think it's great as like a nurture tool and like connection tool. And I'm not advocating for anyone to give it up. But really what I like to share from my own journey is just there is more than one way to market an online business. And I think that, again, like when you are only learning from folks in one place, like let's say Instagram, you're missing out on this breadth of strategies that can really be quite powerful and effective.
So you would recommend a both and approach instead of either or?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like I love SEO. And I think we'll get into this more in the second episode, but SEO has changed a ton even since I started using it 2017. And I think that in order to be successful in organic search, you've got to have a broad online footprint, right? Because Google is starting to pay attention to what you're doing off of your website, because they're trying to come up with ways to figure out who's a real person, who's a real brand, not just like like AI spam.
AI spam.
Right?
That is
So
important.
from that perspective, like having a broad online footprint is important. But I think also, I hope that in 2024 going into 2025, we've learned not to put all our eggs in one digital basket. Like everything is an algorithm, everything. And so I've had my Instagram hacked and taken away, right? And like Google updates its algorithms, and the 2023 helpful content update like really hit a lot of small businesses quite hard. And so I think diversifying is always smart, but I think it's just natural to then gravitate towards one platform that's like your preferred platform. But I wouldn't advocate getting rid of the others. Like I think it's just then you're playing with fire.
Mm.
That makes sense.
I personally cannot wait for the second episode called straightforward too, get found on Google, right? Like SEO has definitely been my weak point along the years. Like I definitely am not an introvert and quite comfortable, though I don't dance on camera a lot. I'm quite comfortable making content and churning out content for the Instagram hamster wheel, if you will, feeding the beast to keep them happy. What I'm really curious about is, since for now two businesses, you've done a great job at using SEO to attract the right clients to you. How long did it take you the first and then the second time to get that system going?
Um, I because it was such an organic process of discovering SEO and growing into it, I don't know if I could tell you exactly how long it took. But what I can say is that the local SEO for my doula business took a lot less time than the broader content marketing based approach that I used for my fitness business. So local SEO, there's different types of SEO, right? Like there's different strategies that you can take. Local SEO you can spin up a lot faster. It's less competitive. When you're working on like a, let's say national scale as opposed to a local scale and using like more top of funnel content to build an email list, that takes longer. So I know that's not a great answer, but the local stuff that definitely spun up in a short number of months, and the content marketing took longer, probably closer to a year to really start filling the funnel and building my list.
When you said that you started investing in learning how to do SEO, what did that look like? Did you take a course? Did you hire, a coach or?
Of course, I took courses. I'm a course junkie. But it was also a lot of learning on my own. So reading everything I could read, listening to all the podcasts. I think I took 2 courses. I continue to take courses, but the basics, I never paid anyone to do my SEO for me. I learned how to do it myself and implemented it myself, and all self-taught through the internet and courses.
What do people usually think of when they hear the words SEO versus what you know it to actually be as far as what really moves the needle?
That's a really great question. I think people think tech. Like, I think people think it's like really, they think like tech, they think stuff they can't do themselves. And that SEO really rests on several pillars, one of which is tech, but 3 of which are keywords and content, user experience, and brand authority. And those are things that you need no technical knowledge to implement. And so I think people get hung up in the wrong place, right? Like, they get so hyper focused on this stuff that they can't do, that they don't do the stuff they can do. And it's like that stuff they can't do doesn't even matter unless they've done all this other stuff.
What other things did you try along the way before you settled on SEO, like in your other businesses?
Well, I don't know that. So I've tried a lot of things, and SEO has always been there. And I don't know that, like I said, I haven't like given anything up, right? Like, I really do believe in like diversifying, but I tried socials, obviously, and that ebbs and flows as per my mood. At this point, I haven't posted on my socials since April, and I know I need to get back in there. Um, I did run ads for a bit. So I ran Facebook ads for some time as both a list building and um, I think they were always, I think the ads I ran were always going to opt-ins or to um, just traffic to send people to blog posts and Facebook posts and that sort of thing. It's been a minute since I did that. Um, but yeah, I certainly tried in quotes social media and ads.
Was there ever I guess a low point along the way where you felt like, I don't know if this SEO thing is working? Because you said um, for the one that it was taking like up to a year or so. So like, what was like a low point maybe, or what would you recommend for people who are kind of just getting into it?
So I think that's a great question. So when I created my very first website, I hit publish and then I went to Google and searched for myself and I couldn't find myself. And I was like, God, like, I was so angry. And, I didn't understand the process of what it takes for Google to discover and crawl and index and rank a website, right? That takes some time. Um, and even once you're in the index, it takes some time to really start getting referrals from that. But I think so that first year was frustrating for me as I like discovered all of this. But I think also like the first year of business is like hard for anyone, right? Like, what do they say for like a service-based business? It takes an average of 5 years to really build up like a solid clientele. And so I think whatever your marketing strategy is, it takes time to have that solid influx of clients. And so certainly, and like, God, am I out of it yet? Like, I don't even know. But like, I was definitely frustrated early on when I didn't feel like I had enough clients coming in or stuff wasn't happening fast enough. But I think no matter what your marketing channel is, that is going to be the case. I can tell you that right now, so I pivoted to offering SEO as a service at the end of 2023. And I launched a new website. And of course, it takes time for SEO to vest and to start getting leads through the website. So I'm getting email subscribers through my website, but I'm not getting a ton of clients through my website yet. And so I was using my socials more as I launched this business to get the word out and to reconnect with people. And so ironically, I was bringing in most of my business earlier in the year in particular through Instagram, which was wild to me because in my fitness business, I don't think I ever got a client through Instagram. Um, but I think it's a beautiful example of like of the importance of layering your marketing strategies. And so, and again, like when I'm working with someone who is just starting with SEO, I don't encourage anyone to get rid of their social media, right? Because in that early period where you're waiting for your SEO to vest, in particular, you need like a quicker source of leads. And maybe that's socials, maybe it's ads, maybe it is like some like hardcore referral marketing. But this year for me, I've gotten my clients have all come either from Instagram, or from referrals from my network. And I would say actually my number one source of business this year has been through word of mouth and referrals. So I think I think I've danced a little bit away from the original question. So maybe I'll put a pin in it and leave it there.
Okay. All right. What I'm getting
Okay.
is it's important for the listener and even us to understand that, like, in online business, in this case SEO, but really in any kind of online business or business in general, it takes a lot longer than we think it will. But then
Mhm.
once it starts working, it happens much more quickly than we think it will. Um, and as I was listening to you, I was thinking of YouTube when I started doing YouTube
Mhm.
versus like Instagram, for example. Like YouTube is great and they call it like the king of social media, but you can't just start YouTube overnight. However, in serving clients, like some of the clients that have the most robust funnels end up having a very solid YouTube funnel that they've invested the time in to develop, and now their leads just come in. And I would say that's the same for some of my clients that actually get leads from SEO. Like they didn't do it overnight, but once they're ranked and discoverable by Google, it's like these search leads come in organically, and it's not like they're doing a ton to maintain like that lead flow. They're publishing, yes, like content at a somewhat regular basis, but it's pretty cool from what I've seen on the outside looking in.
I mean, I could not keep up with the client inquiries I was getting off of my website for personal training. Like I had to go to waitlist and like I could not keep up with it. So once it's working, it works really, really well. But it's just like, it takes time for that to vest. And so that's where diversifying, using your network, using your socials, running a few ads, like everything complements all the strategies complement one another.
Can you break down what you mean for me when you say vest? Because I think of vest like retirement, but what do you mean by vest when you talk about
Yeah,
it?
well, I think of SEO, like my favorite analogy is the stock market, right? Like you and I don't I'm not like I'm not good at this stuff, okay? Um, I let my husband manage this stuff. But like you buy a stock, you don't expect a return on it the next day, right? You buy a stock today, maybe it goes up a little, maybe it goes down a little by tomorrow, but like there's not going to be a dramatic change. And even by like next month, like we're not going to see a dramatic change. Um, but if you wait 10 years, maybe that initial like $100 investment now is worth like $40,000. And SEO is the same way. You don't have to wait 10 years. That was probably a poor timeline to choose. But um, the work that you do today, the optimizations, the content you create, it matures over a time scale of 6 to 12 months. The more content you create, the more backdoors into your website you create, the more keyword opportunities you create. Over time, it snowballs. It snowballs. And before you know it, you will have high quality leads coming into your website, right? In whatever type of funnel you set up. But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen overnight. And just like the stock market, there can be ups and downs, right? But the long-term trajectory is always going to be up.
Right.
I love that stock market
Yeah, that's good.
example, Jamie, because I like when Laura shared that she couldn't keep up with the number of leads and you had to waitlist it, right, Laura? That just totally reminds me of the trainings that I've watched in the stock market in various videos where it's like in the beginning you're investing more money and it seems like nothing's happening, but because of compound interest, there will be a point where your money starts to out earn your active income, and that's like what we're all doing as we invest like for retirement.